You know, it's funny. For a guide that's supposed to make writing clearer, cracking open a new edition of the APA manual sometimes feels like, I don't know, like deciphering ancient scrolls.
Right.
But fear not, brave scholar. In this deep dive, we're your trusty translators for navigating those sneaky changes from APA 6th to 7th edition. We've got all the cheat codes from your stack of sources right here.
And trust me, once you see the method behind these changes, it's less about jumping through hoops and more about APA adapting to how we research and write today,
Okay, I'll admit I'm already feeling less intimidated.
Good.
So what's the first big change that'll make us want to throw a citation celebration?
Let's talk eat all. That handy little shortcut for citing sources with multiple authors. Remember the old days of meticulously counting authors to figure out when to use it?
Oh, I remember those dark times, yeah. It's like APA 7 sensed our collective sigh of relief and simplified things.
Precisely. Now, any source with 3 or more authors gets the et al. Treatment right from the first citation. No more mental gymnastics, just streamlined, reader-friendly citations.
Music to my ears. That's one less thing to worry about when I'm juggling those in-text citations, so more concise citations, check. What else has APA 7 blessed us with in its quest for simplicity?
Remember those scavenger hunts for publisher locations when building your reference list?
Oh, yeah.
Well, consider those a relic of the past. APA 7 recognizes that in our digital world, it's the URL that reigns supreme.
It's true. We live in a world of online journals and databases. No one's mailing a physical letter to those publishers anymore. It's all about that instant access.
Yeah.
And speaking of digital streamlining, tell me they also did away with that clunky retrieved from before URLs.
You read my mind. The URL itself is already telling you where you retrieved it, so it's redundant to keep adding it.
Okay.
See, APA 7 is all about clarity and conciseness, especially when it comes to the online world.
I'm sensing a theme here, and I am here for it. It's like APA 7 finally acknowledged we're all living in the digital age. Speaking of which, what about ebooks? Did they finally get the same respect as their physical counterparts?
They absolutely did. Remember when citing ebooks felt like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole? APA 7 ditches those complicated rules and says an ebook is a book. You format them exactly like print books in your references.
Okay, I'll admit, even I'm a little impressed. That's some serious commitment to consistency. But wait, there's more, right? We're not done with APA 7's digital makeover, are we?
Not even close. In a world awash in websites, APA 7 wants to make sure you're giving credit where credit is due.
Wait, hold up. Are you talking about actually including website names in references?
Bingo. No more mystery URLs leaving your reader wondering where they're about to end up.
This is huge EE. I mean, think about it. Knowing a source comes from, say, the Journal of Highly Respected Research versus Bob's Conspiracy Corner makes a bit of a difference.
Exactly. It's about transparency and helping readers evaluate the credibility of your sources right from the get-go.
Right.
Knowing the source helps you understand the potential biases, perspectives, or even the humor level of the information presented.
It's not just about making citations less painful. It's about making the information itself more transparent and trustworthy. I can definitely get behind that.
Okay, this digital revolution is making me excited to hear what other APA 7 wisdom you've uncovered.
Oh, we're just getting started. Let's dive into a change that might seem small, but has big implications for how we think about DOIs. Remember those DOIs, those digital fingerprints for journal articles we always need to include? APA 7 has simplified how we handle those too, bringing them firmly into the digital age.
Okay, because I'll admit, wrestling those DOIs into my reference list sometimes felt like, honestly, like trying to wrangle a cat into a bathtub. What'd they change?
Well, in APA 7, DOIs get the same streamlined treatment as regular URLs. You format them the same way, starting with https:/doi.org/. So no more DOI awkwardly hanging out before the actual identifier. Just a clean, consistent URL format.
You got it. It's like APA 7 realized, we're living in a hyperlinked world and decided to make everything flow seamlessly.
This is making my inner organizer do a happy dance. But I know APA 7 isn't just about making things look pretty in the digital world, right? They also made some important changes to how we represent ideas and voices, and I think that's really important.
Absolutely. One of the most significant shifts is how APA 7 approaches the representation of racial and ethnic groups. They've moved towards greater respect and accuracy in how we refer to these groups, recognizing the power of language and representation.
You're talking about capitalizing racial and ethnic group names, like using indigenous or Maori instead of lowercase, right?
Exactly. It might seem like a small formatting change, but it reflects a much larger societal shift toward inclusivity and acknowledging the cultural identity of these groups.
Right, and it's about time.
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that even style guides can evolve and adapt to better reflect the world around us.
Okay, so we've covered some pretty big changes, but what about those satisfying little tweaks that make you say, finally someone gets it? You know what I'm talking about. Oh, I got a whole treasure chest of those tucked away. For example, prepare yourself for a truly momentous announcement. APA 7 has officially declared a winner in the great one space versus two spaces after a period debate.
Okay, don't make me dream. Tell me they finally embraced the single space.
They did. One space after a period is officially the rule of the land in APA 7.
Victory. I can already hear the collective sigh of relief from students everywhere. See, this is why we do these deep dives, folks, to uncover those hidden gems of common sense in the often overwhelming world of academic writing.
And the good news keeps on coming. Remember how APA used to be pretty strict about font choices, basically limiting us to Times New Roman or bust?
Oh, don't remind me. It felt like we were stuck in a typographical time warp. Did they finally loosen the reins a bit?
They did. APA 7 recognizes that readability and accessibility are essential, so they've allowed for more flexibility in font choices.
So no more feeling like we have to sacrifice visual appeal for those stuffy old rules.
Exactly. Clarity is still paramount, but there's a greater understanding now that different fonts can enhance readability for different readers.
I am all for making research more accessible and, dare I say, enjoyable to read. It's like APA 7 realized that good design can actually enhance good research. Okay, so more font freedom, check. What other APA 7 wisdom awaits?
Well, beyond just visual clarity, APA 7 has also embraced a broader philosophy of clear communication.
Okay, tell me more. How does APA 7 encourage us to up our communication game?
They've placed a strong emphasis on using clear, concise language throughout your writing. It's not just about how you cite, but how you write, crafting those arguments with clarity and precision.
So it's like APA 7 is saying, hey, we're not just here to make your citations look pretty. We want to help you communicate your brilliant ideas effectively.
Precisely. They're advocating for a more reader-centered approach to academic writing, which ultimately benefits everyone.
For a style guide often seen as rigid and unforgiving, APA 7 is starting to feel downright rebellious. It's like they're saying, we're here to help you break free from those stuffy old rules and share your research with the world.
And we're not done yet. There's one more mountain to climb in our APA 6 versus 7 expedition. Get ready to tackle those often overlooked, but oh so important, elements headings. All right, so.
Welcome back, fellow knowledge seekers. We've journeyed through the wilds of APA, from taming those etsals to celebrating the single space after a period, but we're not quite out of the woods yet.
That's right. We've arrived at the final peak in our APA 6 versus 7 climb, those organizational heroes we call headings. Now, you might think headings are pretty straightforward, but APA 7 has a few tricks up its sleeve to make them even better.
Okay, I'll bite. I thought headings were pretty self-explanatory. Big text for big ideas, smaller text for smaller ideas. What kind of makeover did APA 7 give them?
Well, they recognized that those lower-level headings, levels 3, 4, and 5, could use a little visual love to really stand out.
Okay.
So they streamlined the formatting, making them cleaner and more distinct from one another.
So it's all about visual clarity. No more squinting at the page trying to figure out what level heading you're looking at. I'm all for anything that makes navigating a research paper easier on the eyes.
Exactly. They've also done away with a rule that honestly always felt a bit redundant.
Do tell. Which rule finally got the axe in the name of common sense?
Remember how APA used to demand that your paper start with a heading that literally said, Introduction?
You mean like we needed a giant neon sign to tell us we were at the beginning of the paper?
Yeah.
I'm with you. That always felt a little unnecessary.
Right. It's like APA 7 finally agreed to, meet us where we're at.
Yeah.
They realized that your paper's title and those first few paragraphs are inherently introductory.
Right.
No need to spell it out.
I love it. It's like they're giving us permission to ditch those old school formalities and focus on what really matters.
Yeah.
Clear, compelling writing.
Precisely. And that's what's so exciting about APA 7. Beneath all those rules and guidelines, there's a real emphasis on clarity, consistency, and accessibility. It's about making research more approachable for everyone.
For a style guide often seen as rigid and unforgiving, APA 7 is starting to feel downright revolutionary. It's like they're saying, hey, we're not just here to make your professors happy. We're here to help you share your ideas with the world, which I think is so cool.
And that's a wrap on our APA 6 versus 7 deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from those little victories like the single space after a period to the broader shifts in how APA approaches inclusivity in the digital age.
It's been quite a journey. But remember, the goal isn't to memorize every single change. It's about understanding the spirit of APA 7, its emphasis on clarity, consistency, and making research more accessible and engaging.
And just like that, the once daunting world of APA citations feels a little less intimidating, a little more manageable, and dare I say, even a little bit exciting.
You said it. So next time you're facing down an APA paper, remember you got this. And if those pesky citations start to feel overwhelming, just take a deep breath, channel your inner APA adventurer, and remember there's always a deep dive waiting to guide you through.